then there'll be the waveform. See, looking after the editor. Right. So I don't have an intro.
Sick.
Like, I was like, should we do some sort of welcome back to? But it's not welcome back to anything, because it's the first time that I've done this. I was thinking about you in the shower this morning.
Nice one, mate. Glad to hear it.
No, I was thinking about you in the shower because obviously I knew that we'd got this, and the reason that I asked you to do the first one of these might become a regular occurrence. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. I don't know. Is what I like figured out this morning is, out of everybody that I work with at the minute, I've worked with you in some capacity for the longest.
Yeah.
So obviously, back from when I was working for somebody else in the business mentorship, I was helping you then with the business side of things. Then you did the first intake of the Amplifier.
Yep.
You joined Elite, and now you are in Apex. For those people that don't know, where's the camera? There you go, directly down the camera. Apex, I don't really talk about it, but it's basically, I have a very, very limited number of one-to-one clients that I'm a little bit more hands-on with, and you are one of those people. So I think we're going to get to talk about like the full spectrum of coaching, business, all that sort of stuff. But before we get into that, because your story is a bit mad.
Yeah, love it.
Absolute party boy.
Yeah, a bit of a nutcase.
Animal into the person that you are now, which I would say is one of the most like regulated, well-rounded.
Appreciate it, mate.
No, honestly, you've put the work in. So it's, I think there's no way we can talk about coaching and what you do without starting there. And actually, there's probably some of this that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know you were a bit of a nightmare.
Yep.
But that's all I really know. So talk to me about, I guess, that stage a little bit, and then what then led you to want to get into what you do now.
Okay, so for anybody listening, my name's Adam.
Oh yeah, we probably should have done that. Yeah, this is what I mean. I am not a
freestyle it, mate.
Not a professional.
Yeah. So I'm 31. I'm from a small town in Northern Ireland called Armagh. I've been coaching for coming up 7 years now in April. Where basically, like, to start from the beginning, I'm very introverted by nature. Always have been. Whenever I was younger, I was just like lock myself away inside playing computer games and stuff. Whenever I was younger,
what did you play?
Go outside. Everything, mate. Started off like PlayStation, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, things like that, and then started playing Xbox, playing Halo, and then I moved on to like PC gaming. I was a massive PC gamer. I played like World of Warcraft and Counter-Strike Source, mate, for literal fucking years.
World
actually.
of Warcraft, yeah,
mate, I worked out the time on it. I think I'd spent like 2.5 years, like full actual years of my life playing that game. I would lock myself away for like man, like 3-4 days at a time. Remember actually having to put pillows underneath my elbows because my elbows get that sore because I was sitting on the fucking computer chair for that long. It was serious.
That is it World of Warcraft where it's the famous reel? It's like Leroy.
Yeah, Leroy Jenkins. Yeah, man, it was sick. I actually really enjoyed it though, but it was like, I didn't realize it at that point, but it was my way of like escaping reality basically.
Yeah.
And I was very socially awkward whenever I was younger. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't play any sports. I didn't do any physical activity. I always like forgot my PE kit whenever I was in school and things like that. And whenever I went to college when I was 17, the only thing that I had an interest in at that point was computers, because I was a massive gamer whenever I was younger, and I thought that this was the only line of work that I would be able to go down basically. I was an absolute nightmare in high school. Dropped out with 2 GCSEs, had to do an extra year in college.
What were GCSEs in?
RE, so religious education, and the only reason I got it is because the teacher actually gave me the answers to the questions on the fucking test, and then ICT, because again it was the only thing I was actually interested in. So went to college, was studying ICT, done 3 years, and started drinking when I was like 15. Just the place that I'm from in Northern Ireland, the state that I'm in, is just what everybody was doing at that age.
Yeah,
sort of not brought up in like a really rough area, but it's just the culture in Ireland. Like people just start drinking from no age basically. And the drinking gave me this sense of like fake confidence and fake self-esteem that I'd never had. So I sort of felt reliant on it to have a good time, basically, to go out at the weekends. And I started meeting people and connecting with other people and things.
How old are you at this?
15. I would say 15 started drinking, balls of Buckfast, when I was like 15, sitting at the leisure centre, absolutely shit-faced. My sister had to carry me home and stuff. It was mental, mate. But it started off very like just a bit of cracking stuff at the weekends, and then the more I started drinking, the more I sort of became reliant on it, and started taking drugs then when I was 16. I was hanging about with very rough people in very rough areas, getting into a lot of trouble, doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing, hanging about with a lot of people that I shouldn't have been anywhere near, basically. But I was just in a mindset at that point where I had so little confidence in myself. I had no self-worth, I had no self-esteem. And the alcohol just sort of like, I didn't realize that I was struggling mentally at this point, and the alcohol and the drugs was a way of basically like numbing myself from the fucking thoughts that I had going on in my head and how low I felt about myself basically. So became very heavily reliant on it and was partying then, went from like 1 night a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. Just taking everything, mate. It started off smoking grass and then started taking pills, started sniffing coke, sniffing meth. It was taking everything that I get my fucking hands on. And it was 4 or 5 nights a week. And it was taking out credit cards, maxing out credit cards to take money to the bank machine to pay off loans for money that I owed for drugs and stuff. And getting into fights, getting arrested, just getting into a lot of fucking trouble. And I went to university then when I was 19. And stupidly, at this point, I thought to be like, right, I want a fresh start. I'll go to Birmingham, right? I got accepted for a couple of different universities at that point. I thought by if I moved over to Birmingham that I would leave this previous life behind me. But obviously I didn't know it at that point. You take your fucking problems with you. So went over to university and my confidence, mate, like was completely on the floor when I got there. I remember my mum sent over like 2 big boxes of food with like fucking beans and just student going. Yeah, student stuff like. And I had that low confidence in myself at that point. I remember locking myself in my university dorm room for the first 2 weeks, and I wouldn't go into the kitchen to make food because I was afraid of fucking meeting somebody that was in my accommodation.
Mad.
It was mental, lad. And I was sitting, I swear to God, mate, there's no word of a lie, I was sitting eating cold tins of beans with my hands in my fucking dorm room because I literally wouldn't bring myself to walk into the kitchen. Sitting watching my phone for 2 weeks. And my university, I think, my percentage rate of uni was like 9% or something. I wouldn't go just because it was so fucking socially awkward.
What did you go to study? I know it's a little bit of a tangent.
Computer science.
More,
computer science. So it was just like the next step basically from what I was doing in college. But I didn't realise at that point how fucking much work that I would need to put in to the actual degree, and I had no interest in it. Like I was just partying at this point.
So I was going to say, did you have like a typical freshers experience where you first went and then...
Yeah. So like after the first 2 weeks, I sort of come out of my shell a wee bit, and I think the people that I was staying with in the university sort of realised, and they were like knocking my door, asking me to come out and go out for nights out and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
And then eventually started to get myself outside my comfort zone, but the same thing happened. Like I was there and was so reliant on alcohol to even just have a conversation with someone or to go out on a night out. So I was drinking like maybe drinking a bottle of wine or 2 bottles of wine before I even went out on a night out.
Yeah.
And spent all of my student loan basically in the first like 6 weeks that I was there. So I had a really good time, but then obviously I was broke. I had no money. Wasn't enjoying the course and stuff that I was doing, and in fact, like I needed to get a job basically. So there was a nightclub called Gatecrasher, which was like one of the biggest. I think it was one of the biggest nightclubs in Birmingham at that point. Anyway, so got a job doing.
It's like a famous Gatecrasher. Yeah.
Worked there for a year, right? But
were they still playing like trance? Is it like trance?
Yeah, they had like 6 different rooms. Man, it was sick though, because you go into one room and then you get sick of it. You go into another room and they would have like R&B, trance, like. House music and stuff.
Yeah. I never got to go, but they had a crasher or a Gatecrasher night in Sheffield, and it was like proper trance. Like Kevin, have you seen Kevin and Perry?
Yeah,
like the
best movie ever.
Unreal, mate.
Yeah,
unreal. Yeah.
It was sick, but so got this job anyway, and it was supposed to be doing like promotion work. So I had to like walk up to strangers on the street and communicate with them and try and get them to come into the nightclub. Couldn't fucking make eye contact with a shopkeeper at this point. I was walking everywhere with my hood up and my head down, and my way of overcoming that was drinking, because it just removed that barrier for me to be able to have a conversation with somebody. So it was filling up like BPM bottles full of like vodka and wine and stuff before I went to work, and like I was doing it maybe 5-6 nights a week. So it was just shit-faced 24/7.
I'm guessing you get like free entry to the club and all that sort of stuff
exactly.
as well.
So I was working, getting drunk before I went to work, and then going into the club afterwards and just drinking 5-6 nights a week. That's in uni. And then like past my first year somehow, I don't even know how I ended up doing it, mate, but I dropped out then and I come home because I had no money. I lost it's not that I lost my job, I left the job because it was just taking its toll on me mentally. I was thousands in debt, I had fuck all going for me and had absolutely zero interest in the course, so I come home with my tail between my legs. And
I can't believe you thought you were going to escape drinking by going to uni.
Yeah, no, stupid decision. Yeah. Do you know what though? Like, it was a great experience, and as much as it didn't work out for me, I'm very grateful for that period of my life as well, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now.
Yeah.
But whenever I come home, I sort of hit rock bottom then, and I didn't realise it at this point. I didn't know that I was depressed. I didn't know what depression was. I just knew that I was struggling mentally, and I had a lot of self-doubt. I was just very self-critical, beating myself up all the time, like just felt fucking hopeless and worthless, basically. So I had no money, come home to give me like a $3,000 loan, or not a loan, a grant.
Yeah.
When I come home, I was like, fuck this is class, I can party for as long as possible. This money runs out like. And 2 or 3 weeks later, all the money had run out, and then I literally had nothing.
That's a fair crack.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts, mate. It was a good time though. But I got arrested 2 weekends in a row. So the first weekend was for drunk and disorderly, and then the second one was for getting into a fight and a night out. Second time, can't even remember it happening. I just woke up in a police cell with a fucking grey tracksuit on, the black plimsolls and stuff, and I knocked the door, and the policeman, he's like, oh, you're in a lot of trouble. You were fighting last night, and the fella that you hit's in hospital with a broken jaw, and you're going to get done with GBH with intent. He's like, you're in a lot of trouble. And I was sitting in the cell. I was like, fucking hell, my life is over. I'm done. I'm going to jail. Everything's fucking gone, basically.
Fucking, I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's nuts, mate. So I think like that was the sort of breaking point for me. And I remember coming home and having a fucking mental breakdown. Basically, I was sitting on the edge of my mum's bed, and everything that had been bottling up, like, because I didn't know what emotions were at this point. I didn't know how to regulate my central nervous system. I didn't know how to deal with any of this shit. So, like any man does, you just bottle things up, bottle it up, bottle it up, bottle it up. And
So how old are you? Like 21, 21?
Yeah, 2021, yeah. And yeah, burst out into tears basically, and started telling mum how I was thinking. I was suicidal at this point as well, and like, touch wood, obviously, thank God, like nothing ever fucking came of it, but the thought definitely crossed my mind a lot when I was that age. And whenever I actually started talking to mum about it, then it sort of felt like this burden had been lifted off my shoulders, because at that point it was like, nobody likes me, nobody wants to help me, nobody gets it. I don't want to bother anybody by telling them that I've got these problems and stuff, but I realized that obviously I did have people around me who cared, I did have people around me who loved me, and I did have people around me who actually wanted to support me.
Yeah, and isolating yourself is one of the worst things that you can do as well.
Just makes it so much worse, man, because nothing to do but just fucking sit and think and have these twisted thoughts in my head all the time. So started talking to people a little bit more about it, and realised that if I didn't get my act together, I was going to end up dead or in jail, basically. So I had to do something about it. So my uncle was a fitness instructor at that time, and he had always recommended me going to the gym. His name's Walter, and I was like, fuck off, Walter, I'm not going to the gym. I look like somebody that wants to go to the gym. Like, it's like I would have been watching like Jersey Shore and stuff and seen all them lads back in the day going to the gym shredded and all. I was like, fuck that, there, like, that's not for me. Those boys love themselves and stuff. But finally bit the bullet then, started going to the gym with one of my mates, and so self-conscious, like, couldn't go to the gym on my own. Remember the first time I ever went to the gym, I walked 20 minutes, sat outside for 20 minutes, and then I walked home because didn't even have the balls to go through the door, like. But started training with him then, and after about 5 or 6 months of training with him, I started to realise the like physical and mental benefits that it had on me. And it started to give me like confidence, self-esteem, give me like goals and stuff to work towards, give me a purpose, give me a fucking meaning in life, got me away from bad habits, got me away from some of the bad people that I was hanging about with. And like, don't get me wrong, as much as I was training, like I was training Monday to Friday, and then I was going out in the bag at the weekend, and it was just fucking self-destructing, mate, for years.
Like the Jersey Shore boys. Like the Jersey Shore boys.
Yeah, literally, mate, literally. But I loved it because it did make me feel good about myself when literally nothing else did at that point. So sort of swapped the obsession of like drink, drugs and partying to the obsession of going to the gym. While I was still like dabbling on the odd at the weekend, I was trying to get my shit together and trying to sort of sort my life out. And I was working in dead-end jobs. Like, all of the jobs that I had up until that point were like factory jobs. I was working in dog food factories, packing fucking pallets, doing night shift. Working in egg factories, like literally up to my hips in fermented rotten eggs. Coming home, my ma would make me strip off at the front door and put the clothes straight into the washing machine because it stank that much. Like, they were
hose you down while you're outside.
Yeah, literally, man, literally. But yeah, like obviously at this point I had no passion. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself, and I didn't think I was ever going to be able to make anything for myself at this point either. But I knew that training was the thing that I actually had an interest in. And I remember, do you know who Joseph Rakic is? No? Do you ever heard of him? He's like an Australian PT. He's like a keto fucking lad.
Right.
Don't watch any of his stuff anymore, mate. I think he's an absolute nutcase. But he was one of the first ever like online coaches that I seen back in the day.
Right.
I was like, this guy's sick. He's like, he's living the lifestyle and all. He used to consume all of his content. I was like, that would be class if I could do that someday. Never in a million years did I believe it was ever going to be possible. But I remember looking at all of these courses and stuff, and I was working in a chemist warehouse at the point, in a drugs warehouse. Believe it or not, they trusted me to work in a drugs warehouse.
Did you have to pass some sort of background check?
No, not even mental. But anyway, I was talking to lads and stuff whenever I was working in there, and like, these guys were like maybe in their 40s or their 50s, and they were so unhappy and they were so miserable, and they were there like 10, 15 years. It's like, I don't want to be one of these people. Yeah. I don't want to be in my 50s hating my fucking life, resenting going to work and just being miserable. Like, so I was like, I need to do something. So I signed up for a PT course and was really looking forward to it. Spent like 6 months preparing for it and all. Couldn't wait for it to happen.
Walter was buzzing.
Buzzing, yeah, absolutely buzzing.
He's like, gotcha.
Got to the point of doing the course, and I went to Newry in Northern Ireland, and the fucking course was cancelled because I couldn't get enough people to do it. So I was gutted because I'd waited all this time. Yeah, waited all this time to do the course, and then it was cancelled. I was like, fuck, right, what am I going to do now? And then a fella that I was working with at that point had recommended another PT course in Belfast. It was like $3,500 or something. It was really expensive, and like at this point I was broke and I had no money. Like, so I took a loan out to pay for it, and it was the best thing that I'd ever done. But like, even when I was doing the course, I was looking at everybody else around me in the room. I would always hide at the back of the room. I would never like voice my opinion. I didn't really interact with anybody else that was there, just because I was living a very fucking sheltered life at that point. Just kept myself to myself, really.
Yeah.
And didn't believe that I was going to be able to pass it. And put everything into it. Like, I was working 9 to 5, and then I was studying for the course in the morning, studying for the course in the evening, studying for the course over the weekends. And it's the only thing that I ever studied for in my life, because the only thing that I was actually interested in at that point. And whenever I passed it, then it was the first time that I'd ever actually felt proud of myself, and it was the first time that I'd ever actually achieved something, because I'd pushed myself outside my comfort zone and knew that I'd done all of the work that I'd put in to actually do it. And I was like, fuck, this is class. If I can do this, what else can I do?
Yeah.
And it sort of opened like Pandora's box for me in this journey of like personal development.
So did you go into a gym? Did you do in-person PT? Like what's
Yeah. So whenever I finished the course, I think it was about 3 months after, I got a job in a local gym in Armagh, and basically I was working for somebody else. So it was good in that sense, because at that point, like, I didn't do any content online. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to like offer a program. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to do any of these different things. So just basically had to show up and he gave me clients. And it was really good because it helped me develop like communication skills and social skills and being able to work with people and understanding people. And again, it was massively outside my fucking comfort zone as well. I remember the second week that I was there, the boss that I was working for, he was taking one of the boot camps, and there was like 25 people or something on it, and he ended up being sick in the middle of it.
And you were like, no fucking
Yeah.
way.
He told me that I had to jump in basically and take over it, but it was one of the best things for me as well, because if he told me that I was going to do it, I never would have done it. I wouldn't have
Yeah,
like,
not turned up.
yeah, because I didn't think it would have been, I had it fucking in me to do it basically.
I think they'll straight in the deep end sometimes like that is like the best way. It's like, what are you going to do?
100%. You've no choice. You just have to fucking push on with it. But all of these like micro moments of me like sort of pushing myself and then realizing that nothing fucking bad is going to happen and that I actually can do these things that I never thought was possible before. So I worked in the gym for 4 years, 3.5 years, 4 years. And by the time I got to the end of it, I'd sort of realized that I'd hit my potential basically on what I could get from the gym. Like, I was promised all of this avenue for like growth, and
that entire time were you again getting given clients? Yeah.
Just getting given them basically. So you get set hours that you would work, and then like the clients could choose whether they book in with you or not, or the managers of the place basically would like sign clients to work with you, if that makes sense, and then take classes. And then over lockdown, I was doing like online fucking bootcamp classes and stuff. So that was my first ever experience of like content or like being on camera and stuff. And it was one of the fucking scariest things I'd ever done in my life at that point. Like, but again, it was just more reps in the tank and showing myself evidence that I actually could do these things. So it helped me grow and develop more as a person. But I had like different ideas and how I was doing like different nutritionist courses, and I was learning a lot about mindset and personal development and all of these different things. And I wanted to bring in some of the things that I was learning because I knew it was going to help the clients that I was working with. But it was sort of his way or no way, basically.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to do the things that I actually wanted to do. And then like I wanted to start making like content and stuff at this point, and like they weren't really happy with it because obviously in their mind I was
conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
yeah.
Like coaching clients and stuff. It's like, fuck this isn't for me anymore. Like, I've sort of hit the ceiling on what I can do basically. So decided to leave, and I had no fucking money. I had no money. I had no clients. I had no idea how to make content. I had no idea how to sell to anybody, and I had no idea if it was going to work. But because I had no income, it sort of forced me to go all in on it.
Yeah.
And I had like 150 quid in the bank or something at that point, and that was it. And I spent £99 on a fucking sign. Like, do you know those just like big marketing signs?
Well, like the A-board things.
Yeah. With like my logo on it, and stood in front of it like this and put my fucking thumb up and took a picture and put it on social media. And I thought
no way.
Loads of clients coming in from it. Obviously, he had fucking crickets and I didn't get anything from it. Like,
have you still got the sign?
Still got the sign.
Yeah, that's mint.
I've used it. I've actually used it 4 times now, but it's only the in-person events that we have done with our clients. That's the only time that I've ever used it. So at least I have got use out of it slightly.
Yeah. I think you keep it just for the memento, though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's memory, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah. So whenever I got out, then do you know Sean Casey?
Yeah.
The Social Circle. I wanted to work with a coach just to see how they done things and how I could learn from him, like how he coached people online, so I could sort of take some of the things that he was doing and apply that obviously to clients that I was working with as well, because at that point I had no idea basically what I was doing. And at this point he started to blow up on social media then. So I started picking his brain. I was like, how are you doing this? I was like, give me a hand. Can you help me make content and stuff? So he started coaching me essentially from a content perspective. And at this point, I'd never sat in front of a camera before.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, I want you to make 5 TikToks a week. And I was like, what? Fuck off, mate. I can't even make one. But it started off very slow. It was like maybe 1 video 1 week for a month, and then 2 videos, and then 3 videos, and slowly but surely built it up over time. And just obviously, the more you do something, the better you get at it. Slightly better at it anyway. And started getting a little bit more clients and stuff in. And yeah, that was sort of the start of the online coaching journey at that point. It was very much personal training then. It was just, here's your nutrition plan, here's your training plan, go and follow it.
Yeah.
But then it was having clients that weren't following the plan and they weren't fucking sticking to it, or they were ghosting me, or they were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And I didn't understand how to handle it. And I didn't know what way I had to, like, at this point, it was like trying to give them advice. Basically, it was just telling them what to do, because I thought that that's what needed to be done essentially at that point. And because they weren't doing it, I was like, oh, it's your fault. You don't want it enough. Basically, typical fucking PT. You need more discipline. You just need to work harder. You just need to try
I
harder
think
next
it's
week.
changing a little bit these days, but I think a lot of people, bear in mind the company that I started working for, there's a lot of parallels between, I mean, I never did any in person, but similar to you, I was like working for somebody else, getting handed clients. So it was amazing to learn, like I said, communication and get used to that sort of thing. But even then, it was a transformation company. So that was the same for us. Bear in mind, I was also the person that I was going through my own journey, and I knew that wasn't the case, but it was still almost framed as, oh, well, maybe you just need to try a little bit harder. It's so mad to think back.
100%.
But there's still people out there that take that stance. And I do believe that it's a spectrum, right? Like, people do need to put a bit more effort in, probably. And sometimes we do need to call people out. But that shouldn't just be the default, default mode of, oh, well, it's definitely your fault. It's definitely you.
100%. I actually had a client. She came back to work with me there. She signed on last week, and she worked with me 3 years ago. She's done really well. We left on really, really good terms. She'd achieved everything that she wanted to achieve. And then she signed on with another coach last year just to try something different, completely different approach to what I was taking. And it was just 1,400 calories a day.
I was going to say, give me the dirt.
1,400 calories a day, basically for 12 weeks straight. And that was it. There was no coaching. There was no real feedback. There was no accountability. There was no support outside of that. There was no lifestyle management, nothing to like help manage your stress or sleep or any of that kind of stuff. And she came back to me because she's like, oh, it's not for me. But like, that kind of coach, that's the way that I was coaching whenever I first started as well.
Same. Same.
Because it's the only way you're really taught at the beginning, isn't it?
And I think, well, I don't know what Sean was doing with you as well. I think when you, or at least when I had my first experience of coaching, before I found the coach that really got things to work with me, for me, Mike, that's what I was given as coaching. So I was like, oh, well, this must be it then. Like weekly feedback and calories.
Yeah. That's it.
But
so suppose after that, the content thing actually started to pick up then. So
we're going to talk about this. I've got some specific questions about that. I want
yeah.
to know more first though. Like, so there's a lot in that I didn't know. I knew you were a party animal. That was about it. I was like, it used to be a nightmare. Would you change any of it?
Nah, definitely not. Like the previous stuff that I'd done before coaching, do you mean?
As in, what
journey in general?
your I guess your experience with it all.
Nah, I wouldn't change it. I'm grateful for it at this point, because if I didn't do any of that stuff and I didn't live that part of my life, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you right now. I wouldn't be in the job that I'm in. I wouldn't be living the lifestyle that I'm living, and I wouldn't know the things that I know now. So as much as it was a very dark period of my life, I'm very grateful for it, because it forced me to become the person that I am today.
And then the follow-up question for that then is what maybe like what traits, what do you think you've got from it that has benefited you in coaching?
Mental resilience, probably more than anything. Having the ability to learn from mistakes instead of dwelling on them. Being able to set small, manageable, fucking realistic goals and showing myself evidence that I can actually achieve these things. Because I think that was one of the biggest things for me, was just this constant hanging of like self-doubt and not believing in myself and not thinking that I was ever going to be able to do or achieve anything, or pretty much that, mate. And obviously over the years, gradually pushing myself a little bit more and setting these small goals and these small targets for myself and fucking things up and making mistakes and being able to learn from them and just continue moving forward has been fundamentally the reason that I'm sitting here right now. And like that mindset that
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. So like that mindset for me completely changed my life, and it's the same sort of philosophy, like, I don't know if that's the right word, that I would use and apply with obviously the clients that I'm working with at the minute.
So then now let's talk about, you were just starting to mention the content thing. So at this point you've took your picture with your sign. You thought you were going to get a load of clients flocking to you. Obviously we met through a business mentorship that I used to work for.
Yeah.
What happened between you posting that picture and then you signing up to the business mentorship? Like, what I want to get a feel for is what your early stages of online coaching, what it actually looked like, maybe in delivery, what you thought it was going to entail, and just kind of how that looked.
So obviously it was very, very slow in the early stages. I was working with like any client that I could get my hands on, basically, like any coach does whenever they first start out. You just need money. You can't really pick and choose who you want to work with. So I was working with people from all kind of different backgrounds and different goals and different things that they were trying to focus on, and they weren't staying in the business for very long because I wasn't a great coach at that point. So it was like trying really hard to get these clients, and then they weren't staying that long. So it was just firefighting constantly, trying to get new clients coming in the door, and I was sort of stuck at like £800 or £900 a month monthly recurring revenue, which wasn't enough to even pay the fucking bills, never mind live at that point. Coaching wise, like, I was just doing everything through Google Sheets basically, so giving them like a welcome pack, setting a calorie target for them, setting a training plan for them, but like outside of that, that was literally all they got, because again, I didn't know any of the other stuff at this point.
And again, it's experience, that's what you're learning, it.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, after working with Sean for a while then, he was getting me to make recipe videos and stuff. I was trying out different kinds of videos, but the recipe ones were the ones that were doing well. So he was like, right, let's lean into this. Let's make more recipe videos. So I went fucking all in on it, mate. I was making new recipe videos every day, and I was like, this is class. And like at this point in my life, I was very reliant on external validation. So likes, followers, money, other people's, just fucking other people liking me, basically. And like whenever I made my Instagram account, before I left the gym, I had like 100 followers. And then obviously the followers started growing. I was like, oh, this is fucking class. So I wanted to lean into the thing, doing like more recipe videos to get more followers in, because it was like making me feel good, giving me that wee dopamine hit and stuff. And it worked out really well in the beginning, because a couple of the videos went viral. I think one of them had like 150 million views or something, and it went from like 300 followers to...
What was the recipe?
Chinese fake away chow mein, which was just noodles, soy sauce, chicken, and fucking seasoning, mate.
Mad, innit?
Yeah,
mad.
Standard,
I always ask that question because, again, I know quite a few people that blew up off the recipes.
Yeah.
And like the cliche thing that's like, it's always air fryer chicken wrap. It's not. Like, I think that's what it might have been for Sean.
Yeah.
But it is always something so fucking basic.
Yeah, something really simple, but it done really well. And then like started reposting it, started making different recipes and stuff. And instead of making coaching content and actually trying to fucking help people, I was just making videos. It was living in my kitchen.
Yeah, you weren't the only person either. We had 3 from memory, maybe 4. I'm not going to name them. Clients, again, coincidentally, all Irish clients that had done the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was like recipes. They started to see it to work. It was like, well, fucking let's double down on this then.
Yeah.
You blew up. I know you've like lost a few followers, which we'll probably talk about. But were you like 90,000, 100? That like it was.
I think I went
took off.
Yeah, it did. It took off. I went to like 3,000, and then I think I went from like 3,000 to like 60, and then 60 to like 90, and then 90 to like 108, basically.
Yeah,
so I was like, fucking hell, I've made it. This is class.
Yeah.
But I've sorted and all. I thought this was fantastic. Like, and it did do really well, because at this point there wasn't a lot of people making content, especially where I'm from. So there's maybe only two or three other lads that was doing the similar sort of thing at this point, because this is in the very early stages, just after COVID had hit. And had all these followers, but I wasn't getting any fucking clients in the door. It didn't make a difference. Like at the start, it didn't make a difference anyway, because I was talking to all of these people and I was getting lots of engagement and lots of comments and lots of people in my DMs and stuff, but I had no idea how to like monetize it, if that's the right word, how to actually convert the followers or the people that was engaging in the content into actual clients or customers. So at that point, it was like, right, I sort of need help with this, because I've got what I needed to get from Sean, but I need something else. And I can't remember where I seen it. I'll not mention obviously like names or things like that, but I'd seen a post from a mentorship, and it was, I can't even remember what the first post was. It was like how to make your first 5k revenue in fucking 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something. And I was like, sold. I'm in. So jumped on a call. The guy that I had a conversation with on the call wasn't even the person that was advertising for the mentorship, which was like a red flag for me at this point. But the person that I was on the call with was a very good fucking salesman. And he told me everything that I wanted to know, everything that I wanted to hear, basically. And I can't even remember how much it was. I think it was $3,500 or $4,000 or something. And I maybe had £1,000 in the bank at this point. So we took a loan out to pay off the rest of the, I took a loan out to pay off the rest of the investment for it. And I had to go all in on it. I was like, right, this needs to work. If this doesn't work, I'm fucked because I'm going to be in debt. I'm not going to be able to pay it off. I don't have any clients or customers or whatever.
That's where you landed in my lap.
And that's when I landed in your lap, mate, yeah.
I will say you did go all in.
Yeah.
You absolutely did. Yeah. So let's talk about that then, because I mean, I know we were speaking about this briefly before we started recording. I have seen more people that have blown up and have struggled to build a coaching business. I'm not going to say there's people that have blown up that aren't making money, because they are, but they're having to take different avenues. They're having to maybe go down recipe book routes or other things like that. So I'm not going to say that you won't be able to make more money if you have more followers. But what I will say is I've seen more people that have blown up like this and think it's their ticket to a good coaching business. And I know more people that that's not the case for than people that have blown up and have been able to then straight away transition into a coaching business. Kind of because of the things that you were just saying there, because you double down on recipes. Those people aren't coming in because they want coaching. They're not coming in because they want fitness. They're coming in because they want recipes or whatever that is, training videos, whatever. So, but when I say this with grand old 8,300 followers or whatever it is, I think people think, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're full of shit, you've got no idea. And obviously, it's not my personal experience, but like I said, you being one of them, plenty of others that we were working with at the time, and I've worked with since, where they've got this audience and it's like, where's my clients?
Yeah.
So what did you find when we then started trying to actually make that transition?
To converting the followers into clients?
Yeah, so the audience that you'd got.
So at the start, it actually did work well. Like, once I had the right systems in place and understood how to actually communicate with people and bring them through a proper transition, like through the DMs, and ask them the right questions, and how to actually talk to people on a sales call and stuff. Because like my sales calls and stuff before that was just like a phone call. Well, what's crack? Like,
do you want coaching?
What's your goal? Do you want coaching? Basically, I do training and nutrition. It's this price. Do you want to buy it? Basically. So like, I had no idea what I was doing. So obviously the mentorship was very helpful in that sense, where it gave me a little bit of structure and frameworks and stuff that I could use to try and convert some of the followers, obviously, that I had into clients, and doing like launches and things like that, which obviously is stuff that I'd never done before either. And I think I'd went from having like maybe 11 clients to, I can't even remember what it was at that point when I was working with the mentorship. I had like 45 or 46 clients or something. So it was a big jump. But the problem was at this point as well, because the sales tactics and stuff that I was using, because it was so early into coaching as well, and because not even coaching, it was personal training, but because it was so early into like this online personal training, I didn't actually know how to fucking coach clients in the first place. So I was using all these tactics to get clients in the door, and then once the clients come in the door, they were leaving as quick as they were coming in, because I couldn't get them the result that I was promising them whenever I was actually trying to sell them something in the first place.
Yeah.
So for a long time, it was clients coming in, this is class, making lots of money, and then all the money's gone, all the clients are leaving, and then it's like, fuck, how am I going to get more clients coming in, basically?
Yeah.
So it was hard that way, and I just realised that it wasn't working anymore, and I didn't get into coaching to make fucking recipe videos, and that's not what I wanted to do. And obviously, like, given the story that I was chatting about earlier, the reason I got into coaching is because of the impact that training and self-awareness and fucking journaling and personal development and mindset had basically saved my life. Like, I definitely don't think I'd be sitting here right now only for that. And that's the reason why I got into it, but I sort of forgot about that whenever I seen all these followers and stuff coming in, and just sort of leaned into doing things that I wasn't actually passionate about.
Yeah. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I remember we distinctly, a few conversations that we had about this, is that you had an idea of the impact that you wanted to have on people, who you wanted to help and stuff like that. But because of the type of content that you'd blown up with, the idea that you had for your business and the insights of your account just did not fucking match.
Yeah.
So I remember you were wanting to work with people kind of like yourself.
Yep.
And we ended up having to go down the route of older female clients, because that's kind of like what we've got in the, not all female clients, but there was definitely a big mismatch. And I remember us talking about maybe they're just not the right clients.
Yeah.
Maybe we're dealing with this situation where we've got all of these people that we can sell to. Maybe we actually need to pump the brakes a little bit
100%.
and figure it out.
Yeah. I think my Instagram at the minute, I was actually looking at the insights last week. It's like 75% female between the age of like 40 and 65, which is nuts. So like there's very little men there, and like I definitely would, like, I love all of the clients that I work with, and I love helping females, and I think I can relate to them massively. Like, I come from a household where I was brought up by my mum. My dad lived in a different town, still obviously was there for me and everything when I was younger, but I'm just more empathetic and sort of compassionate towards women than I would be men, and I would say I'm very emotionally aware, and I can help women through that situation as well. So I think I resonate with them a little bit more. But the task, you got me to do a task actually last year whenever we were chatting about this, because I had clients coming in and stuff that I didn't really want to work with. I wasn't passionate about the things that I was doing. I was doing a group coaching program for 2 or 3 years, and it was specifically geared towards weight loss, because the last mentorship that I was in, that's what they told me to do, is excel this weight loss program, and I'd done really well. The first 3 or 4 intakes all sold out, and I was getting good retention, and they were moving into one-to-one coaching after the group coaching program and stuff. But whenever we were traveling last year, I was like, I don't feel fulfilled in my business anymore. Like, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I'm not enjoying the marketing. And I think it showed off in my marketing as well, because I wasn't actually passionate about the thing that I was selling. So the last intake, before you and I had that conversation about like changing things up, I'd put like 3 months of what I thought was very focused work in the preparation for this launch. And it was like 99 quid for a spot, and 2 people messaged me. One of them signed up, and that was for 3 months of work. And I was just like, this is not working anymore. Something fucking needs to change. So obviously, like, the lack of passion that I had for selling weight loss was coming across in my content and how I was putting that out there and stuff in social media. So whenever you and I had that conversation, we're like, right, let's fucking break everything down, build it from the foundations back up again, and sort of work out who your ideal client is, exactly the kind of person that you want to work with, how they think, how they see themselves on a daily basis, the conversations that they're having in their heads, what they're struggling with, what their problems are, all of these different things. It was the most helpful exercise that I've ever done, and like I probably spent 2 or 3 weeks doing it. It was blocking out.
I remember you sent it across to me. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like 11 pages of A4 handwritten. I'm like, oh shit, right.
100%.
Okay.
I probably have 4 or 5 of them now, because I keep coming back to it and revisiting it and adding more things in and tweaking things and adjusting things. But
yeah,
it just gave me so much clarity on exactly the kind of person who I actually want to work with and what's going on in their heads, and how I can communicate to them in a way that they sort of understand.
Which is why I like thinking about it. I know, so just for the timeline, we're kind of jumping all over the place, but from your account blowing up and realising that you were landing the wrong type of client that didn't want the service that you wanted to sell, to the task that you've just talked about, there's 3 years in that gap.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot has happened. So let's maybe skip back a little bit then, because obviously we were working together in that capacity. You still managed to, like you said, on paper, successful, earning decent money, but it was just a constant grind. Now what I really want to talk about, let's just get a time check. I've got water, thank you. Yeah, absolutely, bring that up. Are you cold, by the way?
I'm freezing, mate. Can you see me checking here?
It is cold.
Is it heating on?
I don't know if it'll mess with
I ain't gonna be
things.
sitting on the camera like
Yeah,
this.
no, mate. I'm. That's why I'm gripping my hands together.
Turn the heating off, but I don't know what.
I don't know. Put a jacket on if you want. Like, we've got plenty of time if you want to.
I'll put my hoodie on.
Yeah, put a hood. It is cold. It is cold. I'm like properly gripping my hands together underneath, but I've only got my coat. So just in case. Just in case that gets edited, it's fucking freezing in here, and we're both sat here shivering. So I just put his jumper on. I promise I've not paid
My hand's checking and got
I promise I've not paid him to wear one of our jumpers. We got to this point, and then obviously I'd kind of started separating, doing my own thing, setting up what the Amplifier was, which was literally a 6-week course on here are 6 big mindset things that you'll deal with your clients. And you were one of the first people to jump in that. So that's back in June 2023 now. So we'd already known each other probably a year, 18 months at this point. Now what I really want to focus on, because something that you do really well and probably don't give yourself enough credit for is the coaching
Yep.
side of things, because you've learned from me. You've obviously, you came and did the transformational coaching qualification. I know you've learned elsewhere and stuff like that. So talk to me about, we know what you thought coaching was.
Yep.
Talk to me about what that transition into your service now actually looks like in terms of deliverables, the stuff that you work on, how you go about it, the problems that you like to solve. But I know I'm just talking, but basically, go.
Okay. So yeah, like obviously I thought that coaching was just like training and nutrition, and that was it. And clients were coming to me with problems like not sleeping, stressed out all the time, binge eating, emotional eating, turning the booze and stuff whenever they didn't actually want to be doing it. It's like I just banging my head off a fucking wall. I was like, I do not know how to solve these problems, basically, because I didn't have the tools and stuff to be able to deal with, to manage it or to help them with it. So whenever I'd signed up to the Amplifier and started learning about like perception and journaling and cognitive reframing and all of these different tools and stuff that you'd incorporated into it, was the first time I'd ever heard of any of these things. Like I thought at this point, I was like, right, I'd read Carl Dweck's book Mindset, and I was like, I know everything there is to know about fucking
Mate,
mindset.
innit? Mindset and Atomic Habits.
Yeah,
Is
sorted. But
the volume on, Maria? Just double check, is the volume on? Now it's sat back down. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, I thought I knew everything about mindset, didn't have a fucking clue. So like your course was unbelievably helpful because it opened that box to me. I was like, right, there's so much more that I can learn here. And journaling was something that I had dabbled with like off and on over the years. Never really believed in it because it was just gratitude journal. It's like, I'm grateful for my dog, and I'm grateful that I've got a roof over my head, and I'm grateful for this glass of water on the table, right? But I was writing down the same thing every day, and I wasn't really giving it any conscious effort or attention. And at this point, I didn't understand the power and the benefit of questions because, like, obviously I know it now, but at this point I didn't realize that like questions are the steering wheel of your brain, basically. So like, obviously you know this anyway, but like if I was to ask you a question, what color is the grass? Your brain just goes green. What color is the sky? Blue. What noise does a fucking cow make? Moo. Like, it's impossible for your brain not to look for the answer if you ask it a question, right? So the journaling in that sense was really helpful for me, and I started learning a little bit more about like self-awareness and being able to understand and just recognize thoughts without giving them any like conscious attention or shining like the sort of spotlight and stuff onto them. And sort of became obsessed with it. So I wanted to learn a lot more about it. So as well as doing your course, I actually signed up to therapy whenever I was living in Australia. Actually, it was before I went to Australia, and it wasn't initially therapy that I'd signed up for, but it was for getting better at public speaking, because it was...
That's a bit of a transition.
Yeah. It was something that I'd always wanted to do, something that I'd always seen other people do, and I was like, fuck, I'd love to be able to do that someday, but I'm not that kind of person. So limiting beliefs is another massive thing that I learned from the Amplifier as well, and being able to break them down and understand that like a lot of limiting beliefs that we have is just our brain giving us excuses to keep us in our fucking comfort zones, basically, but it doesn't mean that they're true. So anyway, I was working with this guy, started learning a lot more about emotions and how to regulate your central nervous system and how to be aware of your emotions and how to like surf the urge. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
And like just being able to actually sit in silence and without distractions and without being overstimulated, and actually practicing mindfulness and just spending 3 or 4 minutes a day just sitting fucking looking out the window at the birds and the trees and whatever. So like all of this stuff that I was doing at this point, like the Amplifier at that point was more beneficial for my own personal life than it was with clients, because
I remember you saying this, and initially it wasn't developed that way.
Yeah.
So obviously I rebuilt it. There was you and a few other people that said that sort of thing, and I was like, well, I'll just rebuild it so it's also a personal development course for the the coaches as well.
So yeah, it was unbelievably helpful for me at that point, because it helped me realize and understand myself better. And then obviously the stuff that I was learning, because I knew the impact that was having on my life, like I was feeling better mentally and physically. I was more self-aware. I wasn't as self-critical. I was able to break down negative thoughts and reframe them. I was able to remove these limiting beliefs that was holding me back. I was able to regulate and process emotions effectively. I was able to use journaling as a way to like set intentions and tones for the day to give me focus and clarity. I was able to reflect at the end of the day to see what things went well, what didn't go well, what improvements that I could make, how I could carry that forward into the next day. And it fucking changed my life, mate. And I know I've said that to you on a number of different occasions as well. But the impact that had on me as a great, I need to give this to my clients, basically, which obviously was the idea to begin with anyway. But took everything, obviously, that I learned from you, put it into my coaching, obviously tweaked a few different things, but still to this day, a lot of the stuff that I would implement with my clients has obviously come from the stuff that I've learned from you, the stuff that I've learned from the therapist, and the stuff that I've learned from my own experience over the years. And it hasn't just changed my life, obviously it's changed the lives of the clients and everything that I've worked with over the years. And like that made me realize what coaching actually was. And like for me, my coaching has developed in a way where it used to just be like training, nutrition, and fat loss or weight loss. Whereas like I would say, and like my clients have told me this too, but like I would say my coaching is more geared towards like lifestyle and sort of, it is more like lifestyle coaching, stress management, teaching clients how they can regulate their emotions instead of turning to food.
And I bet the physical results
That's it though.
are better.
Much better.
Yeah.
They're more adherent. They stick to the plan better. They feel better. They're more present at work. They're more focused at work. They're more present with their families. They're sleeping better. They've got more energy. And because they feel better about themselves, they're not turning to booze, alcohol, or food as a way to self-soothe or to cope with all of these negative emotions or the stress and stuff that they've gone in their life. So like one of the main things that I help my clients with is mostly stress management, getting their fucking sleep sorted so they can actually show up for themselves, making themselves a priority in their own lives. And like one of the other main things that I focus on with clients is screen time. Like my clients always like, why are you tracking my screen time and stuff? Because it's we live in such a distracted world these days, and it's something that I used to really struggle with. Like I used to have an unhealthy obsession with social media in a consuming way, where I would spend like 8, 9, fucking 10 hours a day watching everybody else live their lives instead of living my own, saying that I didn't have time, didn't realize obviously that my brain was comparing myself to everybody else that I was seeing online, and then I wasn't feeling good enough, didn't feel like it was as good as all of these other people. Why has these people got better lives than me? Why are they smarter? Why have they got more friends? Why have they got this? Why have they got that? And
Just like coaches do now, by the way.
yeah, literally everybody does
Looking
it.
at other coaches.
Yeah, everybody does it. And like whether you're doing it consciously or subconsciously, it's still happening in the background. And like a lot of people say they don't have time. Oh, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to get steps and stuff. I mean, like, get your fucking screen time up there and let me see it. 4.5 hours a day scrolling on social media. Like, tell me again that you don't have time to focus on things. Like, you don't have
Can
time.
you remember that event? I
Priorities
spoke
problem.
at Carl's event in Dublin, and I don't know why. You and Carla were there, and
Yeah.
It made everybody like full of coaches. It made everybody share the screen time at the start.
Yeah.
Remember, Usheen's was like 14 hours.
Yeah,
It's like ridiculous. I was like,
insane,
what the
man.
fuck are you doing?
It's mad. It is mad. But the impact again, like anything that I ever do with my clients, any coaching or any guidance, and if they ask me for advice, like I won't give them any advice that I haven't battle tested or done myself over the years. But like being able to reduce my own screen time from like fucking 9 hours a day, like I think my average screen time over the last 2 weeks is like 1 hour and 25 minutes, and like
That's
my
mad.
business is obviously completely online. Everything's done on the laptop, phone's left in a different room, it's in silent, to do not disturb 24/7, and like the clarity and the focus that gives me, and I'm just so much more clear-headed. And like I've seen it with every client as well, and they don't realize that that's a fucking massive problem in their lives either. But then like 2 weeks after tracking their screen time and getting it from 6 hours a day to 3 hours a day, like, oh, I feel so much better. I'm sleeping better. I've got more energy. My fucking relationships are better. I'm so much more focused and stuff. So like, it's not about fat loss and weight loss for me. That's a byproduct of focusing on the lifestyle element of getting sleep in check, reducing screen time,
Sorting your shit out.
sorting your shit out, like being able to manage stress instead of fucking self-destructing, and like focusing on stuff that they can control instead of fucking stressing out over things that they can't control. And it's trying to help them sort of change their perception and realize that they're in control and that everything that they do is a choice, and giving that, like helping them understand that they have to take ownership in their own lives and take responsibility basically for their own actions.
Just before we move on, after that section, if you join the Amplifier, I'm not going to convince you to get rid of your phone. Right? That was just Adam.
Yeah.
That's, but no, you are completely right. And I think what was interesting for me as well, because we'd got this stage, we'd got all these clients, and they were like, you weren't enjoying what you were doing.
Yeah.
And just by changing the way that you fulfilled, this is way before we readdressed the people that we're trying to bring into the business and stuff like that. Already, just by spending more time doing the coaching, talking about the things that you wanted to, you started to enjoy the actual coaching side of it again.
Yeah.
And I think so many people, like, some people can talk about calories and training for the rest of their life.
Yep.
But for a lot of coaches, it's got a shelf life. And there's a lot of coaches out there at the minute are like, oh, I don't know if I'm still passionate about this. It's like, It's because you're talking about protein.
100%.
Like, just
It's boring.
like 9 hours a day.
Yeah, it's
Like,
boring, man.
yeah. There's so much more. So then you actually mentioned it there. You were living in Australia. What I want you to talk about now is, again, this is, so we were still working with each other inside the Amplifier on the coaching side of things. You'd moved away. You were working with different business mentors. Who to be fair, I've got a lot of time for. A lot of coaches, I think, sign up to online coaching because they want to live the laptop lifestyle and be able to travel the world and all that sort of stuff. And what I think is mint is you and Carla did it.
Yeah.
Like, not as in, you know, when people say, I'm going to go traveling, and what they do is move to Australia and then they don't travel.
Yeah.
Like, you've actually been fucking everywhere and still been able to do this.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
Unbelievable, mate. So grateful that I was able to have the ability and the chance to do that. Like, whenever I signed up to do my personal training course, it was a fucking dream for me. Like, it was the thing that I'd always wanted to do. Didn't think it was ever going to be achievable. And I actually made a post about it yesterday. I haven't posted it yet, but like, I sometimes forget how far that I've actually come, and I don't give myself enough credit for how far I have come since I started. And like, I am literally living the dream now that I have always wanted since I first started coaching 7 years ago. But like, the ability to have a fully functioning business where I actually enjoy working with the clients that I am working with now, and being able to travel and see parts of the world that I never thought that I was going to be able to see was honestly like the best experience of my life. And it's sad too, because like, those were the fucking golden years, and like, I'm still sort of living in the golden years now, but like, that part of my life is like in the past and is gone. And it's like, one of the reasons why I was working with a therapist whenever I was in Australia as well is because I was finally at a point in my life where it's like, right, I've got good money coming in, I can pay the bills, I can save money, I'm living in Australia, I should be fucking buzzing and the happiest man on the planet. I've got a gorgeous girlfriend that I fucking love to bits, and everything is exactly where I want it to be. But there was a part of me that still didn't feel like fucking properly happy, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
so I think I was at, like, talking about external validation earlier on, I think I was looking for things outside of myself to make me happy. It's like, when I get a fucking girlfriend and a really amazing relationship, then I'll be happy. And don't get me wrong, I was so much fucking happier, obviously, because I had that. But like, when I move to Australia, then I'll be properly happy. When I get X amount of followers, then I'll be properly happy. When I make X amount of money, then I'll be properly happy. But it just always felt like there was something missing. And I think, like, obviously working with yourself and then working with a therapist and stuff as well, I'd realised that happiness is a fucking inside job. Like, there's nothing outside of yourself can obviously bring you happiness. So that was something that I'd worked on for a long time. But it was tough, mate. It was tough, I'm not going to lie. Like, being away from home, like, whenever we moved to Australia, the only time I'd ever lived away from home was whenever I was in Birmingham. And that's when it was an absolute fucking basket case. And like, Carla and I had never...
You can't compare.
Yeah, it's a big
You cannot compare Birmingham and Australia. But I'm not going to let you do that.
But yeah, me and Carla had never lived together before moving to Australia. So obviously it was an amazing experience for both of us. But we were so far away from home, like, we didn't have any friends over there, we didn't have any family. So as much as it was amazing in the sense that we were away from home and having all of these new experiences and stuff, it was hard because we were so far away from home. And as much as we had each other, like, we didn't have any other, like, really friends or anything outside of that. But no, it was unreal, mate. And like, it was quite hard at the start as well. Like, this laptop lifestyle that you see with people traveling and working and things, it's not what a lot of people make it out to be, because there's a lot of stress involved and you're on your own a lot. Obviously, being online, like, that's just part of the fucking job anyway. But obviously the time zone difference as well. So like, whenever we were in Australia, we were 12 or 13 hours, I think, ahead of the UK. So whenever we had first moved over there, my time management was fucking shocking. And I didn't have any structure. I didn't have any boundaries with clients either. I just let them book calls and like, just done everything when they wanted me to do it, basically, instead of being...
And it means you end up having to do calls at like 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.
Yeah. 4 o'clock in the morning, man. 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I was getting up to do calls whenever we first moved there. So like, I would get up and maybe do 3 or 4 hours of calls at 4 o'clock in the morning, work through to like 1 o'clock, take a 2-hour break, take more calls in the afternoon, and then taking calls at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night as well. So I just felt like I was working 24/7 in my fucking head. Felt like I was about to fall off my shoulders because I was so stressed all the time. But again, like, I was able to learn from that and set boundaries with clients. You'd be like, right, you can book in with me between this time, and that's it. And if this time doesn't work for you, tough shit, like, I'm sorry. It's not going to work. So it forced me to be able to sort of level up and obviously set boundaries with them, and they were happy with it. And the reason that I didn't set boundaries was because I was afraid. It's like, if I set these boundaries, they're going to leave because I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be on demand. I'm not going to be able to do what they want me to do, basically. But they were all sound. They were all really happy with it. So Australia was sick, and then obviously we come home for...
I remember we had a conversation about this, because moving back, there's nothing worse, there's nothing more humbling than moving from the sunniest place in the world back into your mum and dad's house. And I remember you saying that you and Carla weren't even, you had to move back separately, right? You weren't even together, so
it was tough, man. It's like, we've been living together obviously for a full year. Literally joined at the hip, mate, and like loved every second of it. But like, Carla's...
Something that you've not mentioned as well is that she works in the business.
Well.
Yeah. So you've now managed to employ, which is fucking mint, by the way.
So Carla's coach as well. We were working together, training together, obviously living together. Spent all of our free time together, man. It was the best experience that I've ever had in my life. And then obviously coming home, you build this identity up for a full year, and then you come home and your entire identity and your entire life has just changed overnight. She was living to her mum's, I was living to my mum's, and it was just a fucking massive change, and it was quite hard to sort of get settled and back into routine again. And like, the same thing happened last year. So we moved over to Asia, and we done 3 months in Thailand and 2.5 months in Vietnam, and it was the same thing, obviously living together, working together, training together. Fucking absolutely unbelievable, man, the experience we had over there. And the lifestyle was class, but again, like, it still has the stress because you're away from home, you don't have friends, you don't have family.
Yeah, and it's not the normal backpacker traveller experience, because while everybody's off doing all these experiences in the hostels and stuff like that, you're working.
We're working, yeah. So it was the same in Australia, same in Thailand or in Vietnam as well. Like, Monday to Friday we were working. So we're getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym and coming home, working from like 7:30, 8 o'clock to 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, sometimes later, depending on when we needed to be taking calls with clients and things like that. So like, the traveling part of it was done at the weekends, basically.
Yeah. Have you got more plans to go? Are you going again? Is that?
Hopefully, mate. That's the plan. We haven't got anything set in stone yet. I would love to get back over to Asia. I'd love to go to like Japan and China and Malaysia and see Singapore and stuff, but we don't have anything actually penciled in yet. Just trying to save for a mortgage and stuff this year as well, and we're actually enjoying being at home, being close to family, and just having structure and routine and stuff, because that's something that I did miss while we were away, was one, being close to family, and two, like, your routine's just fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
Because like, we were moving around in Asia anyway, like every 1 week or every 2 weeks. So like, again, that sort of laptop lifestyle, like,
try and find another gym.
Yeah, try to find somewhere with a fucking internet connection, mate. So like, we were booking a
should be used to it from.
Yeah, literally.
I had to get one in, sorry.
But yeah, we were booking accommodation and the internet didn't work on it. And then you would go to a coffee shop and you're not allowed to work in coffee shops. And then you would go to a different coffee shop and there'd be no internet connection. And then you're trying to do it off your phone and then your fucking phone data would run out. So it's not as easy as what it looks like.
Yeah. Pros
Pros and cons, though, like anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, life experience for sure.
Yeah.
Like, some stuff that people will never be able to do, but I mean, I never did it, so I'm not going to say it's not what it's cracked up to be, but I'm like, if I'm working, I want to be able to focus. I want to be able to like work and focus and then take 2 to 3 weeks completely off and go and do a sick holiday. Like, I mean, that's what works for me, but it's just because I've never tried it, I guess.
Yeah.
I
think like, that was one thing as well with traveling and stuff too. As much as we were traveling, we were getting to do things over the weekend. Like, Christmas past there, I took 2 weeks off, like 2 full weeks, and I told clients, I was like, listen, I'm not doing check-ins. I'll be in and out of the WhatsApp group, but if you message me, I'm not going to be available over Christmas, because I hadn't took any fucking time off, mate, off work since I started my coaching business, like online coaching business, which was 4 years ago.
That's something not enough people talk about.
Yeah, no holidays, mate. No holidays. Like, maybe taking like a half day here or there to go like spend time with family or something like that, but like, actually taking like a prolonged period of time off work where I'm not doing anything in the business, I'm not doing messages, I'm not doing content, I'm not doing fulfillment or anything. Like, I didn't have any time off at all.
Yeah.
So it was hard. Like, it was a slog, and you do need to put a lot of fucking work into it, and it's not as easy as people make it out to be.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And to be fair, you're still doing it now. So maybe let's talk about that now then. We kind of touched on it earlier, that since we're now working together on like a one-to-one basis with what we're doing, talk to me now about, I guess, just a bit of an overview of like who you now work with, what you've already kind of told us what you're passionate about, but what does it look like now? And then we're also going to talk about the launch that we didn't even have to launch just because it's a bit of a flex.
So a lot of the clients actually that I was working with 2-3 years ago, like, most of them are still in business. It's like, my client retention this time last year was 5.5 months, I think. And I checked it last year or towards the end of December. It was like 11.5 or 12 months or something. So like client retention is basically increased by 50%.
I didn't ask him to say that.
Yeah. But yeah, it has done. And obviously it's through everything that I've learned from yourself and focusing on actually being a good fucking coach for clients and being available for them. Like clients get access to unlimited calls with me now. And it's something that I used to fucking dread. I bet
you do less calls.
I do less calls, yeah, and they're shorter and they're more effective because we get in, we get the job done, we get a fucking action point, and they go away and they do the work after that. Whereas before there was no structure to the calls, and
Talking about Netflix. And
literally, mate, yeah, it's just 20 minutes of fucking waffle, and then there was no outcome at the end of it. Whereas now I actually look forward to coming onto the calls because I know that they're going to get value from it, basically. But it's a bit of a very different sort of age group and stuff that I work with. Like I work with men, I work with women, I work with, like, my oldest client is 69 and she's swimming 3 days a week. She goes to the gym twice a week. She's doing mobility and flexibility at home, walks her dog and stuff every day. And then I've got people, the youngest client that I've got I think is 26 and he's training for a marathon. Like I like working with people who don't believe in themselves, mate. People who are stuck in that sort of Monday restart cycle. People who have tried fucking everything else before. They've worked with coaches. I've had clients who have worked with therapists before. I've clients that have tried literally fucking everything that you can think of. And I'm the solution basically to their problem. I'm the person they come to whenever they want to get the fucking problem solved because I've already tried everything before.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, is that the better you get at coaching, the wider your niche can afford to be. I still think you need to solve a problem just 'cause it makes like the content and marketing and all that sort of stuff easier. But the more coaching skill that you have, you don't have to be like, I work with this specific type of person on this specific type of thing, because when you can coach and you can coach well, you can literally help just people.
That's it though. And like, I think I said it to you or Maria the last time at the last event that we were at. Like I'm fully confident in myself that I could help anybody solve any problem at any point or any situation, just because of the skills that I've developed over the last couple of years and been able to ask the right questions and be able to support them and guide them in the direction that they want to work towards. So like one of the main things that I help clients with is like overcoming limiting beliefs. So there's a lot of clients that I'm working with at the minute who are like, oh, I'm not a runner, or I'm not the kind of person that goes to the gym. And like we've talked people who have literally not even been able to go out for a walk fucking 2 or 3 times a week, and they're prepping for running their first marathon here at the end of April. So like they're pushing themselves to points in their life that they never in a million years thought could have been possible either. So it's amazing, man. Yeah.
And then because of that, we're gonna have to talk about the launch that we didn't have to launch.
Yeah.
So because of that, what effect has that had on the business side of things?
A lot more clarity on the kind of person I want to work with, and like I don't feel like I'm in a place of lack anymore, which I think is what was happening before. And it was just always worried about where the next client was going to come in, and always seeing that clients were leaving, and it was just more focused on getting clients in the business instead of worrying about looking after the fucking clients that was already in the business, which is completely flipped on its head now. And because of that task that we had done towards the end of last year, it's like being able to understand exactly the kind of person who I want to work with and how I can speak to them and communicate in a way that they will actually understand and sort of resonate and stuff with. I was just having conversations with people from, like, we had planned that conversation or the prep for that launch basically in October last year, and I didn't talk about it. So the launch was supposed to happen on the 18th of January, and I only started talking about the actual program itself the week before. But because of everything that I was chatting about in a couple of months prior on stories, so like about the kind of people I work with and how I can help them, and the kind of problems that I can help people overcome and things like that, when it came to actually talking about the program itself, like people had just put their hands up and they were ready to go before even actually started talking about the program itself. Yeah,
didn't even have to do the post.
I think I put 2 posts up. Like one was announcing what the program was, and then the second one was explaining like what the actual different phases or the different systems of the program was. But everything else was just done through stories and drip feeding it up over the months before that. So like pretty much every day, if I was doing anything on the consistency code, which is the name of the program that I run now, so like if I was building something or I was mapping something out, I was talking about it pretty much every day in the stories before that, without actually asking anybody to put their hand up or to show interest or to try and sell them something or doing any like call to actions or anything like that. So it was sort of just nurturing people and building awareness of it in the background. And then when it came to the actual launch period, the people were basically already there, ready to go.
Mad. So
it was sick.
the last thing I want to ask you about, because this is something that I think you do incredibly well, is, and it's mad knowing, like I said, I knew your story, I knew you were a bit of a party animal, but I didn't know to the point of what like little self-confidence you had. You now have got a sick community, you run events, you get people turn up, you stand up in front of people and speak, and all that sort of stuff. Talk to me a little bit about that. Just the reason I'm asking this is because I do think that this year I'm moving forwards with AI and everything that's happening. I think this human to human element is massive. And like I said, you do it really well. So benefits, how did you go about it? Like,
I agree. Like the community side of things, focusing more on client fulfillment and over delivering for all of the clients I've already got and trying to build a community has been single-handedly the best thing that I've ever done in my business. Like I have clients that meet up outside of the coaching now and their friends, and they go for coffee and they go for tea and they go to the gym together and they're helping each other out, and the WhatsApp group and stuff that we've got's amazing, and it basically fucking runs itself in the background. But what inspired me to actually do the first event was the first event that I went to yours, and just seeing how everybody was sort of networking and the community element of it.
Which one was your first one?
The first Amplifier event, wasn't it? When was that?
Well, I was doing the small, the big, with the hoodies.
Yeah,
The one,
was it the hoodies? T-shirts?
So, one of the small ones.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we had like 15 people
I
in
think
it.
so, yeah. But I planted that seed in my head and said, great, I want to do this. And I actually wanted to put a post up about this yesterday too. I haven't posted it yet, but I remember having the idea as a great, I want to run a client event, and I put it off and put it off and put it off because like no one's going to fucking show up. I'm going to put this up and I'm going to embarrass myself by getting people to come to this event and nobody's actually going to show up for it, but put the work in for it anyway. I think there was like 11 or 12 of them came to the first event, and it was fucking amazing, man. Like it was so good for me and so good for them, because like every week we obviously, like my business is completely online, but like every week we'll do like a live masterclass basically on Zoom. So we'll deep dive into like the struggles or problems that they're facing, or I'll deliver like a talk on like stress management or whatever. So it was nice to be able to bring what we do online in person, basically, but like seeing the positive impact that had on the clients and the connection that they have formed together, and like that I would say is probably one of the biggest drivers behind why my retention has increased by basically 50% over the last year, because of these events and because they're getting to know each other in person. And like I agree with you as well, like AI is fucking scary, and especially from a coaching element as well. Like if you ask it questions, it's very good at giving you a fucking really good answer. A lot of coaches or personal trainers are probably not going to be needed in years to come, obviously, with the development of AI. So like being able to have that human interaction and actually get people together in a room and getting them having fun and getting them mingling, getting them to know each other has been unbelievable for every part of my business, like, and my confidence in myself as well. And like the last event that we done there in January, there was, I think we had 23 clients come over. 6 of them flew over from England and Scotland.
Mad.
Stayed over for the weekend and stuff, man.
I think, did Carla speak at this one? You had other
Carla
people?
spoke at it too,
Yeah,
so
nice.
she spoke at it, and I got another coach coming down from Belfast, a friend of mine. He gave me an opportunity to speak at one of his events a couple of years ago, so I returned the favour, and he came down and spoke for them as well, and it was an amazing day. We went out for food and stuff that evening, and we've got our next event booked for April. April 18th, I think there's 16 of them was already signed up for that as well. So
sick.
It's been class, man. But that human connection part of it has been massive. And like I was sort of saying earlier, I used to not resent, but it used to make me really anxious and overwhelmed going on calls with clients, because I didn't know how to handle some of the things that they were sort of struggling with.
It's like you sit down and you're like, they could throw anything at me right now.
Yeah, I can handle it.
Fuck.
Whereas like now they could literally throw anything at me. Like one of my clients the other day, she's been a teacher for 40 years and she's been really struggling. And a lot of things are happening in the workplace that's completely outside of her control. So like what we've been working on over the last couple of weeks is got fuck all to do with nutrition or fuck all to do with training. It's helping her make the right decision for her on how she can live a better quality of life. And she's actually made the decision to leave her job. Do you know what I mean? But like that, we came together through the coaching calls, obviously, to help her come to that decision herself.
That's why people stay as well. Like it will get to a certain point. Maybe if you're not if you're dealing with like photo shoot clients, that sort of thing, that need that constant, I guess, like finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
But there will get to a point. I had so many people before I started implementing this stuff in my business way back when. I had so many people that were like, "You've taught me everything that I need to know now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on my own."
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't say anything. I was like, "Yeah, fair enough."
Yeah.
Like, okay. But that sort of stuff, being able to talk about work, relationships, stress, everything that's going on in life, is people are still sleeping on it. Coaches are still sleeping on it. Right, I've got one more question for you. I'm just wary of the time because Maria's waving at me going, 5, we've got 5 minutes. My last question is, what's your favourite thing about coaching?
seeing the impact that it has on people's lives. Like, I get messages from people saying that I've completely changed their life, on their relationships with their partners better, or the relationship with their kids and stuff are better, or they're the happiest that they've ever felt in 40 years. Like, I had another client message me a couple of weeks ago. She was restrictive dad and yo-yo dad and emotional eating for literally 50 years, and for the first time in her life she doesn't feel like that anymore. So it's been able to see the impact that I can have on other people and helping them become the best version of themselves, and seeing the impact that doesn't have just on their life but on everybody else's lives around them. It's what motivates me and inspires me to get up every day and do the thing that I do. It's something that obviously I'm very, very passionate about and very grateful that I'm able to be in the position to help people do it.
I feel like I should have prepared something for after that, because now I've got to like wrap the podcast up. That was like the best answer. Where can people find you?
So Adam Donald Fitness, or Ed Donald Fitness on Instagram. I actually started making a YouTube account, or started posting YouTube videos a few weeks ago. I'm not actually sure what my YouTube name is. I probably should figure that out. If you type in Adam Donald Fitness, it'll come up on YouTube.
I'm sure, yeah, we'll be able to link it below and all that sort of stuff. Mate, this has been mint. Like I know I've said it a couple of times, like I didn't know the extent of your backstory, and to see, even in the last 4 years since we've been working together, knowing each other, like the change in you and the change in your business and the sort of work that you're doing. And again, being able to travel, support Carla, everything that you do is mint, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Right. Do we have to do one of these to end? There we go.
Nice one.
That was sick. Mate, as if you tried meth.
Yeah, lad. Everything, mate.
Wait, click stop. Click stop. Click stop.